This is Jarrod Horak for the RunawayHorse.com, back with my latest Breeders' Cup preview video, and in this video I'm going to preview the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Now if you want to check out my YouTube channel for some other Breeders' Cup previews, I did a Breeders' Cup Friday preview, I did a couple Breeders' Cup Saturday previews, and then I did some individual races. I took a look at the Classic, the Distaff, the Dirt Mile, the Filly and Mare Sprint, and then I'm going to do the Sprint in this video. Now if you're interested in my 2-day full cards, that annual product for the Breeders' Cup, and it will be for Friday, November 4th, Saturday, November 5th at Keeneland this year. RunawayHorse.com on my sales page. Those full cards will be complete later this week. I have a pre-sale going on right now. So if you want $2 off Breeders' Cup Friday, $2 off Breeders' Cup Saturday, or $4 off both days, head on over to the RunawayHorse.com on my sales page, and you will get those sales prices. And that sale will end on Monday, October 31st, midnight Eastern Time. So get over there and get those full cards for those sales prices before that sale ends, and then they will revert to the regular prices after that. RunawayHorse.com on my sales page. I've been covering these Breeders' Cup full cards since 1998, a long track record of success, and hope we can do well this year as well. Now let's do the analysis for this video. It's going to be for Saturday, November 5th, 2022. I'm going to be doing the 7th race from Keeneland, the Grade 1 $2 million Breeders' Cup Sprint, 3-year-olds and up, 6 furlongs on the main track, and the scheduled post time 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I will go over the pre-entries in alphabetical order. Aloha West is the first one. This is your defending champion, and he broke my heart last year winning this race because Dr. Scheibel was my top choice, and I thought he was home free. But in the last jump, Aloha West was able to close and beat Dr. Scheibel by a nose. He hasn't run many times since then. He ran in the Grade 1 Churchill Downs Stakes earlier this year, and he ended up finishing 3rd, beaten 5 lengths behind Jackie's Warrior, your likely favorite in this race. He hooked Flightline in the Met Mile, and he ended up finishing 4th, beaten 11 lengths. And then last time out, they dropped him into a listed stakes race, the Kelly's Landing Stakes at Churchill Downs at 6.5 furlongs. He stalked, he won by a neck. He was sharper and faster last year, and especially looking at his late pace ratings, they were very strong triple-digit late pace ratings last year. Hasn't quite had that same kick this year, but he's 3 for 5 with a second at 6 furlongs, and he's run twice at Keeneland with 2 runner-up finishes. And if the pace heats up, he'll try to get involved late. American Theorem is one of the top sprinters on the West Coast, but the West Coast dirt sprint division has been pretty weak this year. There's not a lot of depth to that division. And he's run 2 times at 6 furlongs with a win in the second. This will be his first start at Keeneland. He won the Grade 2 Triple Bend by a nose, stalking the pace. The Grade 1 Bing Crosby, he won that one by a length and a half. And then the Grade 2 Pat O'Brien, he rallied to finish second behind Laurel River. And then Laurel River is one of the contenders in the Dirt Mile. Now, Senior Buscador was 3rd there, and then he's also a contender in the Dirt Mile, and he was the next out winner. So American Theorem can try to get involved late. But as I said, I don't think that the West Coast sprinters were all that strong, and he's going to be meeting some very good sprinters like Jackie's Warrior in this spot. Now, CZ Rocket's an 8-year-old gelding, and he used to be more than good enough to win a race like this, and he has a bundle of back class. He's run 3 times at Keeneland with 2 wins and a second, and then also 13 starts at this distance, 10 of 13 in the top 3, including 4 victories. He's earned more than $1.6 million, but he's definitely lost a step. This year, he won an optional claiming race at Del Mar in July. And then in the Pat O'Brien, he was 8th, beating almost 9 lengths. And then the Santa Anita Sprint Championship last time out, 2nd by a nose. He was removing blinkers and he rallied nicely, but that was not the strongest renewal of the Santa Anita Sprint. As we mentioned, the West Coast sprinters were not as strong this year. And this one was almost able to get the job done, and he did not earn a strong speed rating. So he's going to have to run much better, and I don't think that he's going to be able to. Now, Chain of Love is pre-entered in a couple races. This one was also pre-entered in the Filly and Mare Sprint, and I mentioned that one in that video. 3 for 22 lifetime, exits a victory at 7 furlongs in the mud in Japan, but looking at the overall class, hasn't won any group races and just seems up against it from a class standpoint. Now, Elite Power for trainer Bill Mott, this one really started getting good after breaking the maiden at 7 furlongs at Churchill Downs in June. Broke that maiden by 9 lengths, rallying from off the pace from post 11. And then in his next start, entry-level allowance race, rallied to win that one easily. That was at 1 mile at Churchill Downs. cut back to 6 furlongs at Saratoga on September 3rd. Non-winners 2, rallied from 6th place and 7 lengths back to win by a very easy 3.5 lengths. He removed Lasix for the first time in the Grade 2 Vosburg in his first stakes start, 7 furlongs at Belmont at Aqueduct on October 8th. Was up on the pace this time and won that one easily. So this one's improving. He's sharp with 4 consecutive victories. And he's going to have to continue to improve to beat a horse like Jackie's Warrior. Flash of Mischief is the next one for trainer Carl Broberg. Comes off of a big win in a little stakes race at Remington Park at 6 furlongs and earned a strong speed rating there. But that's out of line with a lot of the other races. He just hadn't been earning those kind of speed ratings in his other races. So I have to see if that one was really for real. He is 2 for 3 at 6 furlongs, but I don't think he's as good as that last race makes him look, especially as he's going to jump up and face much better company. A Gunite for trainer Steve Asmussen. This one's 1 for 1 at Keeneland, and that victory was in the 7 furlong Perryville Stakes on October 22nd. He stalked the pace. He won that one easily. And that was, as I said, at 7 furlongs, and he is 1 for 1 at 6 furlongs. He also won a little stakes race at Churchill Downs at 7 furlongs on September 24th. In the Alan Jerkin Stakes prior to that, he was second behind Jack Christopher. And then the Amsterdam, he won that one at 7-1 odds. He was up on the pace, 6.5 furlongs. So you have to go way back to his maiden win, June of 2021, to find the last time he competed at 6 furlongs. So I think he's a kind of sprinter that wants to go 6.5, 7 furlongs. That's going to be a better distance for him than 6 furlongs. Jack Christopher is not going to be pre-entered in this race. It was more of a late-breaking story for him. They decided not to pre-enter him in this race, so he's not going to be in the Breeders' Cup this year. He would have been a contender in here. He was 5 for 6 lifetime with a third, but he's not going in the sprint. Jackie's Warrior, certainly going to be the one to beat in this race. 12 for 17 lifetime. He was the beaten favorite in this race last year, and something to consider in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Post positions can mean something, especially if you're a speed horse. You don't really want to get stuck in posts 1 through 3, because a lot of times you have the sprint and you have some quality speed, and then you have to really hustle from those inner posts and use too much energy, and that typically will cost you in a race like the sprint. So a middle post to an outer post would be much better. Jackie's Warriors connections, I'm sure, are hoping that they don't get stuck inside like they did last year from post 2. Heavy favorite. He was 1-2. He dueled on the lead, and he ended up finishing 6th with Aloha West and Dr. Scheibel dominating that one. So since then, it's been very good. He won the Count Fleet Sprint in the stop in his first start this year. And then after that, he easily won the Grade 1 Churchill Downs, the Grade 2 True North, the Grade 1 Alfred Vanderbilt, and then 7 furlong Forgo last time. He dueled on the lead. He was second. Cody's Wish ran him down that day. Not a bad effort. That was 7 furlongs. He got caught in a speed duel. Back to 6 furlongs, where he's 4 for 5, and his only loss at 6 furlongs was in the sprint last year. So I think if he draws a good post in here, certainly going to be tough to beat. That October 25th bullet at Keeneland looks good as well. So Kimari is one that was also entered in the filly and mare sprint. I like her better in that race, but she is 2 for 2 at 6 furlongs and 2 for 3 at Keeneland. Exits back-to-back wins in the Grade 2 Honorable Miss, Grade 2 Gallant Bloom, earned strong speed ratings in both of those races, and that Honorable Miss was at 6 furlongs. But she's one that this is going to be a much tougher spot facing the likes of Jackie's Warrior. Long-range Toddy hasn't won. You can't even find his last win. I think it was way back in, 2019. It was a long time ago since he's won. But he almost won the Phoenix at 19-1 at Keeneland at 6 furlongs. The local prep for this, Manny just did win that one. Back 2 big long shots running 1-2 in that race. And they're going to have to go faster. He is 0 for 7 at 6 furlongs. And he's got 2 starts at Keeneland with 2 second-place finishes. Manny just mentioned him, won that Phoenix Stakes. He's one that's fairly consistent. He doesn't win that often, but he definitely finishes in the money at this 6 furlong distance. 14 starts, 2 wins, 6 runner-up finishes, and a couple show finishes. And he's earned more than $520,000 at the 6 furlong distance. And he's 2 for 5 with the second at Keeneland. And coming off that win and with that off-the-pace running style, I can certainly see him finishing somewhere underneath in your exotics. Besos, they turned him back in his last couple starts. He was running in route races. He actually was on the Derby Trail in 2021. He was 4th in the Risen Star, 3rd in the Louisiana Derby, 5th in the Kentucky Derby, and then he was 2nd in the Matt Winn Stakes. Then he won an optional claiming race around 2 turns, and then he was 4th in the Mine Shaft. Then they turned him back. The Grade 3 Commonwealth in the Slop in the spring at Keeneland, he ended up finishing 3rd, rallying from off the pace. And then an optional claiming race at Churchill at 6 furlongs. He just did get up last time, but the pace wasn't quick. He stalked and he won that one. The pace is going to be quicker here, probably going to be outrun early. He is 2 for 2 at 6 furlongs. Pipeline is improving for Chad Brown. He's run 9 times with 2 wins, 2 seconds, and 2 thirds. He's run once at Keeneland. He finished 3rd, close 3rd in the Perryville Stakes. That was the fall of 2021. And then after that, he ran in the Cigar Mile and he was nowhere. Entry-level allowance race at Aqueduct, he romped by 9 lengths. That was in the spring this year. The Grade 3 Monmouth Cup, he was 2nd there behind his stablemate Highly Motivated. And then the Forgo, he ended up dueling on the lead with Jackie's Warrior, and he ended up finishing a clear 3rd. So he's one. I don't think they won a duel on the lead. It was a surprise tactics that they tried in that spot. He's also pre-entered in the Dirt Mile. Slow Down Andy, he's pre-entered in more than one race as well. He's consistent, 8 for 9 in the top 3 in his career. But I think this race is going to be much too short for him. He did win his 5.5 furlong debut against California Bred Company, October of 2021. But then he had some success around 2 turns. He won the Grade 2 Los Alamitos Futurity as a 2-year-old, a mile and a 16th on dirt. This year, he won the Grade 3 Sunland Derby, a mile and an 1/8 on dirt, Kentucky Derby prep race. And then in the Los Al Derby, he was 2nd. A real good deal stakes against Calbred Company at 7 furlongs, he was 2nd. Stretched him back out and switched to turf in the Del Mar Derby, and he won that one by a half length, wiring the field. The Awesome Again against Defunded and Country Grammar, he ended up finishing a clear 3rd. He stumbled, he stalked, and he was well clear of the rest in 3rd. So he's not going to be able to keep up with these at 6 furlongs. Super Ocho, he's one that will be there early, but probably not late. He won his U.S. debut, 5.5 furlongs at Mountaineer by 10 lengths. And then the Green Flash Stakes, 5 furlongs on turf, Grade 3 at Del Mar, stalked, weakened to 7th. Santa Anita Sprint Championship, howbeit won by a nose, CZ Rocket was 2nd. Super Ocho ended up chasing the pace, leading, and then holding 3rd there. He's going to have to run faster, and I don't think he's going to be able to do it. Surely Furious is another one that was pre-entered in more than one race. He's pretty easy to decipher. He's 5 for 8 on all-weather ground, and he's 0 for 4 on dirt. And this race is on dirt, not all-weather ground. So I think he's going to be in trouble. And then from a class standpoint, in the ACAC last time, he set the pace. He finished 4th. That was a 1-turn mile. And he's not going to be able to keep up with a field like this, for sure, on dirt. Willy Boy is the next one. He's 6 for 13 lifetime, 5 for 9 at the 6 furlong distance. He was 3rd, beaten 5 lengths, stalking the pace in the Alfred G. Vanderbilt against Jackie's Warrior last time out. He had won 3 in a row prior to that. 2 of those wins were at 6 furlongs, including the Grade 3 Smile Sprint. So that will wrap up my look at the pre-entries for the Breeders' Cup Sprint. And this race definitely goes through Jackie's Warrior. Certainly going to be the one to beat. There's no doubt about that. If he draws a better post, I think if he just can draw maybe from post 4 or out, somewhere in the middle especially, and towards the outside, I think he's just going to be able to either press outside or just get out there and set the pace. So I think this race certainly goes through Jackie's Warrior. He's going to be tough to beat, but for whatever reason he ends up drawing post 1 or 2, and then some other speed horses are drawn right outside of him, he could get caught in a speed duel again. Elite Power, certainly worth considering, but he's got to cut back in distance. He is improving. He's won his last 4 starts for Belmont, has a lot of upside, and he won those races easily. So those look like the 2 horses that are the main contenders in here. I think Aloha West maybe could rally for a piece. He was a defending champion. Manny is another one that I think maybe can get a piece of this. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you like this content, and that will wrap up this video. And I'll be back and keep checking my YouTube channel for more Breeders' Cup previews. As I said, I got a lot of content on there now if you want to check that stuff out. And my full cards, again, they're available at therunawayhorse.com on my sales page for the 2-day Breeders' Cups. Till I see you next time, good luck at the races.